Hey everybody, what is up? It's Friday and I'm live. And we're just gonna see if some people join us really quick. I don't think this is probably the best time to go live, but whatever. People are bored at work on their phones doing their own thing that they can hop on and check it out. I hope you guys are having an awesome Friday. It is beautiful out and there's lots of awesome stuff happening this weekend. Okay, I was inspired to do a live video about giving up. That is something that in my life has been a challenge for me before. In all honesty, I have wanted to give up on a lot of things, and for a lot of reasons. Hey, Sarah. I'll just use running as an example. So I've started to do a little bit of running these days, not a lot. I actually started really small. I started with about 3 minutes on the treadmill, and I was adding 1 minute every time I did it. I was trying to do it every other day, maybe every 2 days, just to add some heart-healthy cardiovascular exercise in. If you guys follow me on Instagram, which you should, Mary Fit This Girl, I talk about, I was feeling convicted about just, lifting for aesthetics and wanting to look good when really honestly, hey, Sarah. As a trainer, health and fitness is my lifestyle, and so I should be healthy as far as cardiovascular as well. Anyway, my husband and I went for a run on Easter Sunday, and he can probably attest to the fact that I probably sounded like I wanted to give up in the first, 3 or 4 minutes there. It was really challenging. I do think that giving up sometimes is okay. And I'll explain to you why. I think that sometimes when we feel like we're giving up, what we're actually doing is when we say no to something, we're saying yes to something else. So if I feel like, for instance, I am giving up because I am not going to go to the gym and do a workout, my time is going to be better spent maybe going home and taking 20 minutes or 30 minutes to food prep and then go to bed. Is that giving up? It's giving up on my workout. It's saying no to my workout so I can say yes to something else, and that is extremely valuable. I think there are some things that we actually should give up. I think we should give up excuses. This is literally on the cool photo that I used on my athlete page to talk about what I wanted to talk about today. I think we should give up excuses. I think that, there are certain reasons why things don't happen, and there are choices that we make. Sometimes we choose one thing over another. Hey, Cheryl. Hi. Happy Friday. But I think that we need to own our choices, right? So we can make excuses all we want, but if you skip that workout and choose to do meal prep or choose to go to bed early because it's good for your body, or feel like you just don't have time or whatever, I mean, sometimes it's like, we start to list them off like they're excuses when really we should just give that up. We are making a choice. Right? Every time we say yes to something, we're saying no to something else, vice versa. So learn to own your choices and stand in power in your choices. I always tell people, your choices are either going to get you closer to where you want to go or farther away. So instead of looking at things as excuses, look at them as choices. And it kind of takes away the positive or negative aspect of it. If I have an excuse, there's a negative connotation about that. If I made a choice, I can own that and feel good about that, even if the choice is to skip the workout or have the dessert, whatever it is, right? So give up the excuses. I think that we should. I think we should totally give that up. I mean, I think we should give up fear of failure, you know? I mean, a lot of times when we're looking at, oh, I'm afraid that if I try this, I'm going to fail. I'm afraid that if I do this, I'm going to fail. I'm afraid that if I talk to this person, they're going to think I'm crazy or say no or whatever. When the reality is, you guys, if you don't do it to begin with, then the answer is always no anyway. Then the result or the outcome is always, a non-existent anyway. So if you can step into the fact that just by stepping out and doing something, if you can own that you're just going to step out and try something, attempt it, ask the question, raise your hand, and really own that, then it's not necessarily failure, because the answer is no if you don't anyway. So I absolutely love that. Give up the fear of failure. Besides, I mean, the famous idea around this is Thomas Edison. He never, ever, ever gave up on inventing the light bulb, right? So, but the whole idea is that he was failing forward, just like that famous John Maxwell book. You can experience a situation where you didn't get the result you wanted to get again and again and again. And now you just know 10 different ways of how not to do that, right? And you might learn something else along the way. So that's awesome. Fear of failure, we should really give that up. I mean, what is failure anyway? I don't know anybody in my life, honest to God, who would look at me or point at me and say, you're a failure. You tried that, you failed. People are like, you were brave, because you tried it, because you stepped out, because you're inspiring others with your authenticity. So if you do have somebody in your life who would say, hey, you're a failure, you failed at that, you should not have tried, that was stupid and silly, you need to reevaluate that. Reevaluate a toxic person relationship, and maybe that's a whole other Facebook Live. So absolutely give up, you guys, on excuses. Absolutely give up on fear of failure. Step out, do it anyway. Learn from your experiences, right? We never win or lose. We either win or we learn. I love that. I actually heard my old boss, Andrew Brightman, say that for the first time. So I definitely think we need to give up negative thinking. I think, social media is great. We can connect with people from across the world, meet new people. And really, do a lot of really good things and impact people's lives and love people and, love God and change the world and everything like that, like my church says. But I think we absolutely have to give up negative thinking, and social media can just be filled with it. Okay, so great example. And I did not post yesterday on the infamous unicorn poop frappuccino thing, right? Because at first I was like, I mean, if there's no coffee in it, I'm not drinking it. Just because why? What's the point? It's a beautiful drink. It looks fantastic. It looked like there was a lot of sugar in it. There's sugar in ice cream and cake too. We do that all the time for people's birthdays. There's lots and lots and lots of things that were happening yesterday around that. I think one of the funniest was, that in the midst of our judgment and conversation and everything like that, Starbucks got a crap ton of free advertising. So good job, you guys. Word of mouth advertising is the way to go. But I think there was a lot of negative stuff too around it. I saw someone on my friend list defriend another person on social media over the unicorn poop frappuccino. I was like, people, this is about people. This is about relationships. This is not about how much sugar is in X, Y, or Z, or judging other people's choices or anything like that. I mean, this is about people, of course, and people make different decisions than we do. But I think social media can really propagate negative thinking. And I think that when we can get trapped into that, that's really a challenge. 90% of the thoughts that we're thinking today are the same as yesterday. So, and our subconscious really does run a lot of stuff. So if we're going to say no to negative thinking and give up negative thinking, what we need to do is create a better habit. We need to create positive thinking. So for me as a trainer, I'm never going to really tell somebody don't eat that. Don't eat ice cream. Don't eat pizza. I say, hey, you know what? Have some salad before your pizza, right? If you can get a little more full on salad than pizza, then that's a win. You can have both. Just fill up first with salad, add in the good, and then the stuff that you're looking to like dwindle down is gonna dwindle anyway. So if we can add in positive, it's gonna make it much easier to give up negative thinking. So spend, 10 minutes every morning, listening to some motivational videos on YouTube, reading the Bible. I'm spending, a little bit of time every morning, and I'm challenging my friend Jen Elizabeth to it, reading a little bit in the book of John, which is all about love, which is awesome because people need love these days. And then 10 pages in a personal development book. And I'm finishing up, finally, the Unleash Your Lady Boss book. But I've got, Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud is on my list, and I've just got a lot of books that I want to be reading. So I think, it's really easy to give up negative thinking when we start putting in positive thinking. So adding in the good, you'll see that bad go out. I mean, you can give up negative thinking. And I would challenge you, maybe even like a little journal or a little piece of paper where you're kind of ticking off if you're having negative thoughts or catching yourself having negative thoughts. And every time you have that negative thought, you can use something that I learned when I went through Weight Watchers, which is to say the word stop, and it mentally will stop you, and then speak something or say something positive, right? So I'll think to myself, something negative about my Facebook Live, and I'll say, stop. I have people who want to hear what I have to say. What I have to say is important. So I think we also should stop negative self-talk, and this goes along with that, right? So when we have negative thoughts, what are we doing? We're talking to ourselves, right? We're our worst critic. We would never say to our friends the things that we say to ourselves in our head. We would never do that. We wouldn't have any friends probably if we did that. So how do we stop negative self-talk? You have to have a right view of who you are. You have to have a right view of your worth, your value, and where you get that from. It has to be bigger than yourself, right? I am not my job. I am not my weight. I am not my Facebook Lives. I am not sometimes the merge that I wicks up, right? So, I mean, I am way more than that. And so I think that when we really grasp what our value is, what our worth is, we can turn that negative self-talk around. And you can always ask yourself, like, would I say this to a friend? And if the answer is no, then give it up. Give it up, man. Stop saying it to yourself. We wanna hear positive things so that we can speak positive things to others. We're talking to ourselves all day long, so we can honestly say, I am going to give up negative self-talk. There's all kinds of awesome stuff on the internet about this, being body positive, self-talk positive.